concept of mini waterworks was introduced in 1979 during the administration of Alhaji Lateef Jakonde as a rapid response strategy to increase water supply and bridge the demand gap across the state. At that time, the state only had two water treatment plants, Iju and Ishasi Waterworks. Between 1979 and 1983, the administration built 10 mini waterworks, 7 of which were located within the metropolis, while the remaining 3 were in the semi-urban areas. The combined capacity of the treatment plants was 26.4 million gallons of water daily. They were also designed to feed directly into the networks laid in their various locations to give immediate effect in these areas. Since then, many waterworks have continued to be built along with the laying of tertiary distribution networks on a continuous basis to improve access to its consumers. Today, from the initial 10, the number of mini waterworks in the state has increased to 48. The sharp increase in the number of constructed mini waterworks over the years shows government's firm belief in their usefulness in increasing supply within a short time, while they serve as good complements to the major waterworks. They do not require such a large space compared to big water treatment plants. The benefits of micro waterworks are also derived from the simplicity of its systems and its operations. Unlike the major waterworks with their complex structures, construction and maintenance of mini waterworks are faster and cheaper, making it possible for government to provide as many mini plants as possible, subject to availability of funds. This explains why the government has been able to record such a phenomenal increase in the number of mini works constructed, with a spread in different parts of the state. With unequal energy and vigor, the administration of Governor Akinwumi Ambode is paying great attention to keeping the mini waterworks operational and preventing their shutdown. For the first time in the history of Lagos Water Corporation, government is undertaking the rehabilitation of all the 48 mini waterworks at the same time.
The whole main day, 5-kilometer reticulation, that's where we start. So the job is almost done. So that's the situation.
So far, rehabilitation of 2 million gallons per day mini waterworks at Shomolu.
We are one of the contractors engaged to rehabilitate and put in some new boreholes in some of the, especially Lot 8, that is the central. Lot 8 covers 5 water, mini and micro waterworks across the state, that is Shomolu, Bariga, Isolo, that is Mushin, Isolo, Iwaya.
Magodo.
We supply Magodo Estate. It's a rehabilitation that is going on now. So, and we believe by the time they finish the rehabilitation, it will boost the production up again. Because as at now, when they commissioned this place, it was commissioned with 4 boreholes. So, but by the time the rehabilitation starts, we're having 2 boreholes on ground.
Badore and the 1 million gallon per day Idimu waterworks had been completed. This has enabled the corporation to resume water production and supply from these plants. When the process is over, production in all the 48 mini waterworks would considerably boost water supply across the state. Moreover, a new 2 million gallons per day mini waterworks had been constructed and commissioned at Moson Okunla in 2016. This was completed with 5-kilometer pipeline reticulation within the local Kanto development area to serve Abeson, Barua, and other neighboring communities. Moson Okunla Mini Waterworks is part of the administration's renewed efforts to keep pace with the growth in water demand. It is an evidence of the commitment of Governor Ambode's administration to continuously give Lagos Water Corporation the necessary support to deliver on this important responsibility of providing potable water in sufficient quantity to all Lagosians. with a total of 48 mini water works having a combined capacity of 91 million gallons of water per day. The mini water treatment plants are serving the quest to meet the water demand of the over 21 million Lagosians. Truly, they are bridging huge roles in narrowing down the gap between the demand and the supply for potable water amongst Lagosians.
When we turn on the borehole pump, it takes water from the well and transfers it into a tank which is called an aeration tank, an aeration/sedimentation tank. Then we also have the sedimentation section, whereby in the aeration chamber, first and foremost, that's where the water from the borehole comes in through a pipe, an inlet into an inlet chamber. The pipe that actually supplies water into the inlet chamber is perforated at different points to make sure we have maximum contact with air, maximum aeration. So when it comes into that inlet chamber, aeration takes place there, and subsequently it moves into the flocculation chamber, whereby we have the raw water coming in contact with the chemicals we make use of here. In the water treatment process, first and foremost, it depends on the quality of water you have that determines the chemicals to be used. So at Lekki Mini Waterworks, we actually make use of hydrated lime and HTH, or your chlorine or calcium hypochlorite, for disinfection. The lime usually acts as a pH booster. That's what we use it for, because the pH of the water is already a bit low, so we need to boost it up to a certain level that is acceptable according to NSDWQ, which is the Nigerian standard for drinking water quality, which is between about 7 and 8.5 on the pH scale. So first and foremost, when the water comes into the inlet chamber, like I said, it now moves into the flocculation chamber, whereby the hydrated lime is introduced. And the flocculation chamber, we actually have mixers, whereby it makes sure that there's proper homogeneity between the chemical and the raw water, to make sure that the chemical is properly dispersed and properly mixes with the water, so that we can get the maximum effect we require from that. And in that section, sedimentation takes place. Initially, when I said aeration, that means when air comes in contact with the water, oxidation also takes place. So the iron in the water, because the water here is actually has a high iron content, which is about 2.2, which is not acceptable. We have to bring it down to a level between 0 and 0.3. So the lime actually helps to in coagulation, bringing together the iron in the water to make sure it settles to the ground. It precipitates, at least settling to the bottom of the tank, and subsequently the semi-treated water flows from one chamber to the next. The chambers have actually been partitioned so as to give us maximum reaction time, so we can get the best out of the best quality of semi-treated water to be channeled into our filter vessels, or the pressure filters, which is the next stage in the treatment process. After the entire aeration and sedimentation process is completed, the final chamber in the aeration tank, we also have, there's an outlet pipe which is connected to certain pumps, which are called transfer pumps. As the name implies, it moves water from one point to the next. In this case, moves water from the sedimentation section into the filters. So the semi-treated water from the sedimentation/aeration tank is channeled into the filters using transfer pumps, whereby all the impurities that are probably left in the water that escaped the sedimentation process, which are probably maybe lighter and refuse to settle, will be trapped in the filters before the treated water flows through the bottom of the pressure filters and into another apparatus, which is the storage tank. At this stage, the water is already ready for use and is fit for consumption. But when it gets into the storage tank, we also have certain pumps that channel the water from the storage tank, either maybe into the distribution mains or system, or we take it to a higher point, which is an elevated tank, so as to attain some level of gravity. The overhead tank is actually situated at a point which is probably one of the highest points within this estate to ensure that we get the maximum pressure in the distribution system. So like I said, the high lift pump takes care of that, moves it from the storage into the overhead tank, which now falls by gravity. The storage, the overhead tank is situated at a height of about 24 meters. The stanchion you can see here is about 18 meters. The tank itself is about 6 meters. So all in all, it's about 24 meters. So the pumps take water from the storage into the overhead, and the water subsequently falls by gravity through the distribution mains and to the customers.
On Thursday, 19th May 2016, Lagos State Government recorded another milestone in its plan to ensure that every home is connected to healthy and safe public water. On that day, Governor Akinwumi Ambode's administration commissioned the 4 million gallon per day Ota Ikosi Regional Water Scheme. Located at Ota Ikosi in Eredo Local Council Development Area, the waterworks was completed with more than 80 kilometers of pipeline network that services 11 communities, which are Ado, Agboa, Agwausa, Agowu, Ajebo, Orugbo, Igonke, Ikosi, Odo Ayondelu, and Ota Ikosi. The government is planning to upgrade the waterworks to 32 million gallons per day. Ota Ikosi Regional Water Works is another testimony of the government's commitment to reducing water shortages and to extend the steady supply of potable water across the state. The treatment plant has increased the production capacity, while the pipeline reticulation has expanded the water distribution network of the Lagos Water Corporation. It is important to mention that in locating the waterworks to service semi-urban and semi-rural areas, the project underscores the state's policy on inclusion as the administration pushes for government's presence within every locality in Lagos. For communities that once depended on streams and rivers as sources of water, the construction of the waterworks to service Ota Ikosi and its environs will greatly impact on the health, sanitation and living conditions of the people within these communities. By guaranteeing access to uninterrupted supply of potable water, the project would further open up the communities and reduce rural-urban migration.
This waterworks is a major waterworks, so we make use of surface water, and the river we are using is River Aye. Comes from Akio, so a lot of tributary there that join and make us this River Aye, and it's also served as a tributary to Itoikin, River Itoikin. So from here now, if there is Keno, you enter it, you get to Itoikin. That controls the raw water pumps. So we have the raw water pumps in the pump gallery. So we will still go there. So we want to start to run the pumps now. Transformer is a step down transformer. This has to come in place as a result of long distance, because the power is being the source of power is from the headworks, and it's about 2 kilometers. So this is the tank for the salt, and also this one is also for the salt. So with those salt here, so the solution here, it is what we process. So from there, this, when it is diluted, it goes into that radio system panel. These 2 tanks is our alarm dosing tank. So as you rightly know, the alarm comes in like stone, so we cannot use it directly inside the dosing tank, so we have to dissolve it here. This dissolution tray basket, that is where we put it. So we will now put water, so from there it will dissolve. So we now stir and then get our density in correct proportion for the dosage.
Furthermore, the state's exploding population has resulted in the approval for the construction of 100 million gallons per day Igbonla water scheme to serve Ekpe Greek, Ekpe Main, Badore, Dolphin, Eredo, Ikoyi, Alexander, Ikoyi Club Road, Lekki Phase 1, Victoria Island Annex, Oniru, Victoria Island, Sakatinumbu and Onikon, along with other communities within that axis. This project, which is to be executed through public-private partnership PPP arrangement, is a long-term investment that will further guarantee the people's well-being. Meanwhile, as the infrastructure for water production keeps expanding, Lagos Water Corporation is undertaking improvements and reforms that would allow it to standardize its services and recover part of its operational cost. To this end, the corporation has begun the installation of prepaid meters in Lekki, Dolphin, Victoria Island Annex, Surulere, Itire, Iwaya, and Yaba Ebute Meta axis, Magodo, Omole, MKO Abiola Garden Estate, and Ikeja area of Lagos. It has also deployed nodal meters into the distribution networks for better efficiency and management of water supply in different parts of the state. These meters will be fitted with telemetry devices for real-time remote monitoring and management. Also, the Lagos Water Corporation has begun customers enumeration exercise across the state to update the corporation's customer database to ensure improved and efficient service to its existing customers. This exercise will cover 17 zonal offices of its operational areas. These are Ikoyi, Victoria Island Annex, Lekki, the Lagos Island, Surulere, Ogudu, Yaba, Ebute Meta, and Ikeja 1 and 2. Others are at Ilupeju, Oshodi, Isherioke, Iwaya, Oronshoki, Shomolu, and Oshodi.
A lot of our people believe water is free. Water is free, yes. But to make the water, treat it to that level, it costs a lot of money. What we're asking is a token. And the token is for that water that we are treating, the chemicals and the treatment and the equipment, we need a little bit back so that we can do the O&M, so that we can continue to purchase chemical to treat this. Right now, that's one of the things that the state is doing for us. The state is buying all the chemical, which is a lot of money. This is about 2 billion a year, between 1 and 2 billion a year for chemical to treat the water alone.
Presently, the water is neat, and it's coming out from the tap neat. With the introduction of prepaid meter, water should not be used anyhow. In some buildings, you see them opening water, they leave for office, wastage starts. That I don't think it's reasonable for anybody.
I think it's better. It's better. Although there was a time that the water was not clear enough. We complained and it was rectified, but now we're having good supply of water and the water is clear enough. It's even drinkable, washable. We uses it for domestic use. Things with government at times is somehow, but at the end of the process, you normally get it right. At times we go to them, my husband goes to Water Corporation to complain verbally. At times he might be asked to put it to writing. At the end of the day, they will rectify all the necessary things to be done. We are always very, very satisfied.
The water is clear and I think it's drinkable. It's a drinkable source of water.
Actually, it's okay. but I think they have some little problem. Sometimes the water will off, sometimes it will come. But I know maybe they just start, so maybe in time things may get better. And most of people around there, especially at the stadium side, they have been requesting for the water. So they just believe that I'm working with water corporation. I say I didn't work with water corporation. They say they automatically see me with them. I say, okay, what do you people want? They say they want the water to be extended to their place, so most of them can be starting using the water.
Lagos Water Corporation also prioritizes the engagement of its stakeholders. This agency is noted for using various available opportunities to host, visit, and interact with its different stakeholders with the intent to get their buy-in and their support. Such forum is also used to canvass for cooperation in protecting public water facilities from indiscriminate vandalization.
The reticulation lines that we have, some of them were since 1910, some of them 1976, 1991. So we know very well that these infrastructures needs to be replaced, they need to be improved on. And there is something we were also thinking of when we started to work on those infrastructure, and we encourage our PPP to also do it too, is to make sure there is for the line, so that at least we know when any of these pipelines are really vandalized, or maybe people are trying to illegally tap into it. We have a lot of people outside too. That's another thing, that will illegally just tap into water. It is dangerous in some area because pressurized pipe, you go in there, if you try to open it up, it can kill somebody because it's full and it's with full pressure. We're advising them, we've put some signs. Even the meters that we are putting right now, some people are vandalizing it already. Intentionally. I've seen occasions where somebody just put fire on the meter. That was intentional. I've seen people that bypass the meter. Even if you have problem with the meter, call us. We'll get people there right away. You don't need, this is a government property. You should not, no one should vandalize it. No one should bypass it. It doesn't belong to you.
With the total demand for potable water standing at 540 million gallons per day, compared to supply, which is still 210 million gallons per day, the Lagos State government, through Lagos Water Corporation, is working relentlessly to shore up the volume of potable water production to meet increasing demands. In this regard, the Lagos Water Supply Master Plan, covering year 2010 to 2020, will be helpful as a roadmap in the renewed efforts to solve the problem of water shortage and ensure steady supply of the essential resource. By year 2020, the water production capacity will be 745 million gallons per day, while the demand will be 733, leaving a surplus of 12 million gallons per day. In its eventful history, the Lagos Water Corporation, regardless of its operational challenges, remains a forthright and formidable institution in providing safe and potable water to a rapidly growing population. The story of the corporation has been signposted by consistent focus and dogged determination to fulfilling its statutory mandates. Unrelenting and undaunted, the Lagos Water Corporation is increasing its production capacity through various expansion programs that will eventually ensure the provision of potable water to Lagosians in sufficient quantity. The efforts of the corporation has therefore contributed to increasing the global population using improved drinking water sources from 76 to 91% between year 1990 and the year 2015. It would also play a major role in achieving universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all by year 2030.